Hey everybody. So, how to build a future-proof marketing funnel. If you pay close attention, I guarantee you that you can do exactly that with everything I walk you through. I'm going to walk you through a lot of things, so yeah, I hope that I can get through it as quickly as possible. So, I'm Samir ElKamouny, founder and CEO of Fetch and Funnel. We're a performance-based marketing agency. I've consulted with thousands of businesses for well over a decade. I've spent over $50 million on Facebook and probably quadruple that between programmatic, TikTok, Google, etc. Generated over $300 million for my clients, and I've built one of the best marketing teams in the world. So, I will give you these slides because I'm going to go through a ton of stuff. So if you want these slides, just go to fetchfunnel.com/tacos. Either the true ad costs of sales, or just because tacos are great and we all want more of those. So, first thing you need to do is set your goals and expectations for your marketing. So what do you want to get out of this funnel? What do you want to get out of the marketing and the advertising that you're doing for your brand? So establish the clear goals. That's number one, what you got to do. And then establish clear time frames. Without this, you don't really know your North Star. You don't really know what you're trying to achieve. And you got to make sure that if you're running a race, you got to know where that race ends. So, first step of this is the most important step. We ignore this time and time again. I can't believe how many clients come to us and kind of don't pay attention to this. So, audience research and planning. First thing is, who is your dream buyer? I want you to think about this, and you really need to absorb this and try to figure this out because it's super important. You need to figure out what their desires are, who they are, what they're interested in. Who's your dream buyer, right? And I want you to be thinking about this in as many detailed aspects as you possibly can. A bunch of examples here that are sort of extreme examples, like where does your dream buyer hang out and where do they get their information and what are their hopes and dreams. Now, if you run a skate shop for skateboarders and you're next to a skate park, okay, that's pretty easy to understand where your dream buyer hangs out, who they are, what their biggest frustrations are. But for digital brands or coaches or you name it, sometimes you don't really understand these things. You don't understand these core components, and you really should be thinking about them and sort of, again, as detailed and as specific as you can get, because the more in depth you get and the more you understand who your dream buyer is, and that's going to help you start to formulate who you're trying to get after, who you're trying to target, and try not to be broad with this. I think that's a mistake that we all make too, right? I can't tell you how many clients are like, well, my target customer is all women above the age of 50. Like, no, I don't think that is your actual dream buyer or your target customer. I think we need to niche down here a little bit more. So really be thinking about that as you're going through that. And so then what are your dream buyer's desires, right? Because it's important to figure this out as well. Find out about your dream buyer. So what are their hopes and dreams? What are their pains and fears? What are the unexpected insights that you can gain from this? And then think about where they are in the awareness spectrum, because you're going to have a lot of different customers, a lot of different prospects. So where are they in your funnel? Are they completely unaware of your product or service? Are they kind of in the solution phase? Where are they? Because this is going to give you insights into giving your customers a better experience, whether that's online, in person, you name it. So like I said, think about it in the awareness spectrum, because where in the funnel they are is going to be really important about the message that you're trying to translate to them, what you're trying to inform them of, the problem that you're trying to solve. You're not going to tell someone who is unaware of your product or service the same thing as someone who's already made the decision. They just are trying to figure out which company to go with or which product to buy. And so one of the important things that I really urge everybody to do, if you're able to do this, is survey as many people as you can within different aspects of your funnel. So, Carta Banner is a good example, or people who did demo requests but haven't gotten a demo yet, or people who just became a first-time customer, or your repeat customers, because all of them are going to have different problems, all of them are going to have different ideas of your business or ideas of your service, and you want to be thinking about that, like I said, just kind of where they are in the funnel. And then map out your customer journey. I know we've been talking about this, and it's super important, and you really have to be doing this. You need to think about what is your customer journey, and what does that look like? And be thinking about that again from where in the funnel they are. Because where the drop-offs happening is where you need to be paying close attention. And be thinking about like each step that's online and offline as well, because I think that's an easy one to forget. If you have sales reps reaching out, that's still part of your customer journey. If you have emails or SMS going out, that's still part of your customer journey. If you have a customer coming into your store, that's absolutely part of your customer journey. So be thinking about that. A lot of great platforms out there to sort of map those things out very easily. And then be thinking about positioning and then where your brand is positioned, and then you really also need to start going into your competitor research as well. This is really important. A lot of brands ignore this. Maybe they're trying to compare themselves to certain competitors or trying to compare themselves to the wrong competitors. So you got to really think about this in the right way. And with the competitive landscape, you need to think about who's your competition, and then what are people buying in lieu of your product, right? What competitor product, or maybe it's something completely different, and what are they seeing? What are you seeing in the market, generally speaking, as you're going through this research? And think about it, is there a rise or decline, based off of outside changes, right? COVID or climate change or anything like that. And also be thinking about who's stealing market share from your business. How are they doing it? What is their message resonating with your target customer? And who is it resonating with? This is something that should be paying close attention to. And sometimes it's not necessarily, might not even be a direct competitor. Maybe you're super niched, but it's something completely different or a different type of business, or they don't really think they need this product or service. So definitely something you should be thinking about. And then do a competitive analysis and think about all of these things, because all of these are super important, right? What is the hook that competitor is doing to reel the business in? What's their marketing? Are they making a marketing promise? Are you making a marketing promise that they're not? Do you have a selling proposition that they don't? Do they have a selling proposition that you don't? Think about the claims, the marketing claims. Are they making claims? What kind of proof points are they doing? Is it testimonials? Is it case studies? Is it, you have to think about that and go through that, right? And then where are they going about those proof points? Is it directly on their homepage? Is it, they're telling, hey, you can interview clients? What does that look like? Guarantee is a big one. Now, how many people here offer a guarantee in their business? Anybody? There's a couple. So think about that. If a customer reach out to me and try to hire my marketing agency, and they're looking at 2 marketing agencies, we both say we're going to do the thing, and we're both going to be awesome, and we're both going to get you great results, but I say to you, I guarantee that the creative we make is going to outperform the creative you already have, and the other marketing agency doesn't give you any guarantee. Who are you going to go with? Right? And so be thinking about, can you offer a guarantee? And it can be a really small one. I forget what the don't suck, I loved your guarantee. I forget the no bullshit, right? That's an easy guarantee to offer. It doesn't need to be this extravagant, okay, money back guarantee, right? But it can be something very specific that helps you, outperform your competitors, and it's something you should be thinking about. It's something where I always tell our clients, if the offer doesn't make you sweat or anxious, then that offer is not good enough and it needs to be better. So be thinking about sort of the scarcity and the value build that they're offering. Are they offering bonuses? Is the pricing different? All that kind of stuff. So as you're doing that competitor research, try to pay attention to all of these things. And then do some competitor ad research. This is also super important. What do your competitors' ads look like in comparison to your ads? Are they doing things completely different? Are they using customer testimonials? What are they doing? Are they focusing on their product in a different way? Do they have people in it? Do they not have people in it? What does that look like? I'm sure everybody knows about Facebook ad library. Super easy place to you can literally Google Facebook ads library and look at any Facebook page's ads. VidTeo is a great one to watch YouTube. You can literally just search any brand and you can see all the YouTube ads that they're running. That's a great one. SEMrush for any of the Google search. There's a bunch of great platforms out there. But this can lead to really great ad inspiration. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. But as you're doing this, don't look at a puny competitor that isn't crushing it. Usually Facebook ads library gives you a good depiction of how much they're spending. If they've got 5-10 ads running, they're not spending much. If they got 200 ads running, they're spending a good amount. So pay close attention to this. How are they positioning themselves? Focus on those bigger competitors, and then always keep your target customer in mind. Maybe your competitor is super similar, but their target customer is completely different. You're going after pharmaceutical and they're going after PIs or something, right? The way that they're going to talk to the way you would talk to your customer is going to be completely different the way that they're going to talk to their customer. So just really keep that in mind as you're doing that, but should be paying close attention to that. So, features and benefits. This is a big one. I feel like a lot of brands, a lot of clients that come our way, a lot of brands that I see online, they sort of ignore the benefits component of what they do or what they offer, which is sort of the most important thing that you should be talking about. What's your value proposition? List out your brand's product features, but next to each feature, write out what the benefit is for your customer. Features should always lead into what the benefits are. Every time I look at a landing page, every time I look at an ad, I'm always looking for benefits, because the more benefits you can relay, like I don't care that your umbrella has this carbon fiber doodad, it doesn't matter to me. But you telling me that this umbrella is super lightweight, it's indestructible, it's gonna last me a lifetime, totally different. I like it a lot more now. So really be thinking about what benefits does your product or service offer, your customer's products or service offer, and be pushing and promoting that. And then be thinking about the brand messaging as you're going through this entire process. So position your brand around your dream buyer, super important, because now that you've discovered this, you got to really start messaging that way and make sure that your message is going to resonate with them. One up your competitors, because now you've done that research on what the heck your competitors are doing, so do a better job than they are. Super important to think about the messaging as it relates to the stage in the funnel, like I mentioned, but don't be afraid to add some personality. I think we ignore this time and time again, where we don't want to be too quirky, we don't want to be too funny, we've got to be professional, but like those founder stories where there's a bunch of humility in it, like we all resonate with that, and we're like, yeah, I really like this, right? Yeah, this person was okay to make a mistake, or oh, their first 4 businesses weren't successful, but now this one is. It's just really important to add that humility and personality, and just don't be afraid to do that. And then I love this because your about page could literally be highest converting page in your entire website, and you should be thinking about that. Like, check out Google Analytics and look at like how much traffic your about page has, because I guarantee you'd be higher than you probably think. If you don't have an about you page or about us page, you're completely missing out on a big opportunity too, because that's your place to tell your story. That's your place to tell your customer, what you went through to start this business, and it's super important. Or highlight your team or whatever it is. But this is it's literally can be your highest converting page over your homepage, product pages, all that kind of stuff. So really be thinking about that. So now that you've kind of done the competitor research, you've gone through your brand messaging, you're starting to build your funnel out, be thinking about conversion rate optimization in the process. It's a super easy thing to ignore, but it's super important. So best part about CRO, lifts profits, scales revenue. I mean, it's one of the most effective ways to do that. I think if you have a 1% conversion rate and then you can get to a 2% conversion rate, you just doubled your profit without doing anything else, spending more money on ads or anything like that, right? And so there's a ton of CRO benefits, right? You'll start making more money. We all want to do that. You're going to get more customers. We all want that. You're going to increase your profitability. We all want that. It's only benefits if you can increase your conversion rate. And this could be online or offline. Like, be thinking about this, right? You have a sales team. You should know what your conversion rate of your sales team is. How many calls does it make to get a deal closed? And is there something little you could do in between on your website, your ads, all that kind of stuff? Be thinking about that. So conversion rate optimization. So you should evaluate your customer journey. Where in the flow are they? The data is going to guide you to prioritize the points of the funnel that you need to pay attention to. Where's the biggest drop-offs happening? Like I said, what pages are they going to? If you find out you're getting a ton of traffic from your About Us page, but then they're completely dropping off, maybe build out your About Us page a little bit more. Put Hotjar on your website or Crazy Egg or something, right? Get some heat mapping on there and see what people are doing, where they're clicking, where they're going. Test, and test some more. I feel like this is something that so many brands forget. They're like, okay, I got my conversion rate up a little bit. Cool, I'm done. You're never done with conversion rate optimization. You should always be testing. So bottom line, more efficient your website is, the further your ad dollars are going to go. Another one is try to increase your average order value. This is one a lot of brands kind of ignore. This doesn't need to be like in the e-com space or anything like that. You can increase your average order value very easily. But think about just like what upsells can you offer? I mean, dentist is a beautiful example of an upsell. You come in for a free cleaning, you just walked out the door with a $5,000 root canal. Boom, best upsell. So think about your post-purchase upsells. Usually that will convert the highest if you're sort of selling online at all. But yeah, think about what kind of bundles you can offer. Like this example, summer board, he was just selling the board like $1,600. We created a couple bundles, and then he was at like, I think the average order value went to like $2,200. So it's like almost 50% increase just by offering, and it was like overnight the second we released the bundles. So now your creative strategy and messaging is the next part of this. So make creative that actually converts. Never just make one ad. Don't create creative for the sake of creative, right? Be thinking about what you're making with intention. You just looked at all your competitors' ads and what they looked like. How do yours compare? Are yours standing out? Are they not standing out? What does that look like? What you think will perform best sometimes is a completely incorrect assumption. I can't tell you how many ads we've produced, and I'm like, that is going to be a home run, and then it just completely falls on its face. And then it's the one that I'm like, no, that stinks. It's super basic. Completely outperforms any video we ever made or anything like that. You just never know. So don't make assumptions. Pay attention to the data. Try to create little variables. I'll talk about that. So do your research, right? Research might seem tedious. It's easy to skip, but it's super important. A lot of things you can be thinking about. Right? YouTube channels, websites, Google your competitors, Google, like people are going to go Google you. What does that look like? Right? You should be checking this off and looking through all of these different things as it relates to your brand and thinking about these things as well when you're kind of doing that competitive research. And then additional considerations, like what are the latest trends, right? This is something that like we're heavy into TikTok now, and that's things we have to pay attention to, right? A lot of clients are like, oh, well, that Instagram story video crushed it. Let's put it on TikTok. Well, could be a different target customer base, could be a different way of resonating with your customer that may or may not work. So things you have to be paying attention to and thinking about. Build a repository of inspirational content and strong ads that you've seen. I think this is a great one because maybe you come across an ad, I love this ad, it's great. 6 months from now, you're not going to remember that. So save them, download them, keep them. Create a little folder of like, hey, this is stuff I wanna make something like this. You don't have it, like that's okay. One of my friends over here, we were talking about behind the scenes stuff that crushes it better than the actual ad itself. So if you just did a bunch of production work and made this beautiful ad, do some behind the scenes stuff because that could actually get you more customers and again with the humility stuff, perform even better. And make it meaningful. So first and foremost, you need to address the entire customer journey, like I mentioned. If you can, map it out, right? And then questions to consider before your creative gets made. Like where does your ad fit in, right? Which channel, which placement? Be thinking about these as they're all different, and you shouldn't be running the same ad across everything. That's super boring. Everybody gets banner blindness. I forgot someone talked about it was like, what, 12,000 ads we see a day or something? That's crazy. I didn't even know it was that high. But what do they need to know? What questions do they have? Be paying close attention to this, right? And before building these tests, consider the end goal and determine what you want to learn. Formulate a clear hypothesis in order to get that clear answer. So what should you be testing? Only test one variable at a time if you can. This is kind of an e-commerce example just to oversimplify it, but this could be applied to any business or service, something you should be thinking about. So decide what you need to learn and write a good hypothesis and then test, iterate, repeat. Remember I said, test, 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 test. Always be testing. So think about, right? So right here's just like a good example of like, those ads look all super similar. You would think like, well, there's no difference between the three of them. But you could see completely different click-through rate on each one of them. 1.78 to 3.3%. That's like double conversion rate right there, just click-through rate-wise, right? So be thinking about the call to action button, the features, the ad copy variations, all that kind of stuff. And align the creative with the customer journey. I know we've been talking about different sections of the funnel, but you should be paying close attention to this. Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. What does that look like, right? Top of funnel, we're talking about awareness, right? And so that's something where you probably got to convince someone of even having any interest. Middle of funnel maybe starts to get a little bit more testimonial, a little bit more user-generated content, a little bit more reviews, things like that. Still probably a little bit of education along the way, but maybe use some of those testimonials and things like that to educate. And then bottom of funnel is just like, come on, buy this, right? Here's my sale, here's my guarantee, whatever that is, try to get the conversion. So now you're going to design your scalable advertising funnel because now you've done the competitor research, you're starting to do your creative, you're thinking about conversion rate optimization. So be thinking about the channel strategy and the media buying that you're going to be doing. So media planning, channel strategy, do consistent performance audits across all the channels. This is becoming more painful with the wonderful attribution messaging that we're getting and all those wonderful things from iOS and everything else. Not that attribution has not been the bane of every marketer's existence for the last forever. But diversify your media mix. This is super important. I can't tell you how many clients like I've had that have just gone by the wayside because they were solely relying on Facebook, wouldn't listen to us to get out of just Facebook only. We don't have that problem anymore, but certainly have had that problem multiple times. And then programmatic's a huge one. Programmatic is sort of one of those untouched things that a lot of people sort of avoid. They think you have to spend a ton of money to get on programmatic. You definitely need to spend a decent amount, but $10,000, $20,000 a month, you can get into programmatic. And as long as you have the proven funnel, which is super important, don't spend any money on programmatic if your funnel doesn't convert already. But if it converts, programmatic can be the fuel on the fire if it's done right. And just that diversification, super important. So launch, test, and measure. Test. I can't tell you enough, right? I'm just going to say it a million times until I'm blue in the face because it's super important. Businesses run a few tests, and then they're like, cool, it's working. Test it and forget it. I don't care. It's working. I'm super happy with the conversion rate, and it's easy to just stop there. So test everything. Optimize, diversify, and expand. So should be diversifying like I mentioned. Don't be complacent with that one channel. Super important. Is everybody here like running more than one channel, or are you just running only? Is anybody here running only one channel? Good. That's great to hear. But there's more, so just keep diversifying. So really quick, in summary, I went through a ton. So set your goals, do the audience research, find out about your dream buyer, super important. Map out your customer journey, you have to do that. Do the competitor research, but pay really close attention to it. Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Talk about the benefits, really highlight those benefits. Everybody here that I've met is an amazing person, has an amazing organization, has a lot of benefits they can highlight. And apply conversion rate best practices. Like Google what that is for your industry and your business. You can get a ton of ideas. You could certainly hire a conversion rate optimization firm like mine, but you don't have to. You could Google it and figure out what are the best practices for your business, your industry, get a bunch of really great points. Don't just create creative for the sake of it. Design your funnel based off of research. Test. Diversify your media mix. Test some more. And then Mr. Bugs Bunny will hand you some cash. So I went through a bunch of stuff. This is actually what we do. It's the fetch and funnel method. We go into a lot more depth on each component of it, but I sort of just walked you through what we do for our clients when they come on board. We're the agency you wish you hired the first time around. So if anybody wants to talk to me about fetch and funnel, I'm more than happy to. I'd love to connect with anybody here. Definitely add me on any social platform you want to. Shoot me an email right now, even if you don't want to work with me, you just want to network with me at some point in the future. Definitely download the slides if you want to. And I just released an amazing podcast where I'm interviewing e-com leaders. So if you want to check that out, I urge you to check that out as well.